Everything else rotted away. These guys are just skeletons, but that like bone shit. Yeah. And you look at like, I just finished this book the other day, and so you look and be like, oh, they're starving to death, but like when you starve to death, all this stuff is actually going on, and it like that had to have been fatal. And we were working on, Mo, who's been on the show, we've been working on this project, which I'm, wanting to plug, but we did an episode on the Donner Party, who died up in the mountains in California. And the Donner Party, in addition to the cannibalism they're famous for, it was so crazy because before I read that book, we're hearing all about that the members of the Donner Party were eating the crushed bone and eating the boiled hides. Oh, and the other thing is all those hair follicles would form into dense balls that would like plug your rectum. And he's just describing all this as they die. It's horrible. But that dude, Randy Brown, gave me that book because you could tell that in his mind, man, like starving out, like it stuck with him. And he's walking around handing out a book about starving to death in the Arctic, because he knew it well. But that was like in that same thing, like Donner Party being like known for the cannibalism and all that, is all those people dying, probably like a lot of the same thing. Eating that hide and hair and crushed bone. Just miserable.
People have a very delusional perspective when it comes to like surviving and living off the land. How difficult it would be.
In talking to him, when he talked about that guy that struck off, like this is after a long time he spent in the bush, he talked about the guy that struck off, and the guy struck off with a .22 pistol. And Randy's like, you cannot, in that environment, you cannot survive with a .22 pistol. Like he just knows it categorically, you cannot survive with a .22 pistol. And the dude didn't.
Yeah, how could you?
Yeah, people would probably think that they're such a badass they would. But he's
how
like,
many
you won't.
bullets do you have?
I don't know how many he had. But he said you won't make it. And he made a point, that .22 pistol, when they found that body, that .22 pistol's hanging on a peg inside, hanging on a peg inside the cabin where he found him.
I mean, there's no way you'd have enough ammunition. Even with a pistol, you're limited in your range. You're limited in your accuracy.
They did everything with 243s in those years that he did that. And they would load like variable loads.
Why variable loads?
He'd make light loads and heavy loads.
Oh, okay, for different animals?
Yeah, they'd make little grouse loads and shit, and they'd load their big game bullets, all the 243. Hunting moose with a 243, caribou with a 243.
Where's he getting all the gunpowder? Where's he getting...
They were loading their own stuff.
Wow. So you'd have to go somewhere to get resupply.
Yeah, they had a camp. At one of their camps, they had a reloading station. The various guys that lived in the bush would kind of come in there and use that reloading station. And that John the Baptist dude looted that reloading station.
Yeah, you got to kill those guys. Those guys cause you to starve to death.
Yeah.
If you're in that kind of an environment and someone's a mooch.
Yeah. But what's weird is about it that someone pointed out to me later. I think John the Baptist, like John the Baptist from the Bible, I think John the Baptist starved to death.
Really?
So that's like a little bit of a confusion. How would that be?
Is that real?
Yeah, there's this kid. I might tell you about him. This French kid, Etienne Brûlé, that the French brought over. And like he's known as Etienne Brûlé, and the French brought him over during the colonial era and gave him to the tribes so he'd learn their language. And then eventually he gets crossways with the Huron Indians, and the Huron Indians killed him and allegedly ate him. So everybody knows him as Etienne Brûlé, which is burnt, right? But did he get the name after or before? Like what
was it a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah,
right.
So you're like, well, hold on, did he just happen? Like he presumably got burned to death,
right,
or boiled or whatever, So it's like, is he Etienne Brûlé because of what happened to him, or was he running around with that moniker and then like lo and behold,